This loser is about to evolve into a demon to clap everyone. First, he will go for all the dudes that made fun of him, then the next thing you know, payback will be sweet against the girls, if you know what I mean. So this is why you never call someone small, as they might accidentally let their banana plantations rip. Anyways, this is how it all started, and it begins outside a castle. The winged demon appears out of nowhere, catching a lonely boy by surprise. Upon closer look, we discover it's actually a succubus with body proportions larger than an extra-large jumbo combo meal. She begins engulfing the boy with her arms, but he doesn't move, probably because he's mesmerized by the fat, large, double twin dragons about to collapse onto his face. Seconds later, Bro finds himself barely able to breathe due to the pyramids of Giza urging him to row her boat. Regardless, she softly whispers in his ear and asks if he would like to do it, to transform into his full form, as he's been a half-E, half-human, half-demon. The boy replies with a yes without any hesitation, full of anger and distraught since humans have always treated him badly. And so dark energy began flowing into his body, slowly evolving him into a Chad while a purple aura begins to surround him. Eventually, he finishes his transformation and turns into Chadamus Prime, fully equipped with unknown powers coupled with your typical anime demon mark. Anyways, the succubus calls out his name, which we learn is Evan, to tell him that he has now evolved into an incubus and she will teach him his new powers at a later time. Fast forward to the next morning inside a massive castle, we get greeted by a gigantic bakery coming from one of the maids within the castle. Suddenly, Miss Big Whopper gets startled by a noble yelling for even in the next room, making her almost drop some of the delicious food she's cooking. Nonetheless, the noble quickly finds Evan and sends him straight to the ground and tells him to stop being lazy, so it's time for you to subscribe. After getting punished by the large man for not liking this video, a couple other servants come to pick him up from the ground and end up passing the blondie named Alina. She tries her best to avoid the boys since she wants no part of any trouble, knowing full well that the servants continually beat up our homie every day. This time feels different though, as Evan looks like he's about to enter his anime villain arc, but he gets distracted a little bit by Alina's watermelons after seeing it wiggle for sure. Nonetheless, she continues on her way to drop off breakfast for the madam of the house, and we instantly see why she's the lead ma'am since she got a double-decker larger than Alina. With breakfast served, the madam starts urging Alina to look for a suitable husband because she's in her prime now, and if need be, she can help introduce her to anyone she wants. Alina refuses the offer, not wanting to leave her side since she wants to repay the favor for the madam being the nicest person she's ever known. She promised herself to stay as long as she could, feeling pity for the madam as she never deserved a husband like Sir Carlson since she routinely witnesses him do the Chris Brown. Anyways, their talk get interrupted as Alina rushes out of the room, noticing Evan get dragged by the servants through the window. But before she could intervene at the end of the hallway, she almost trips on all the servants groaning on the ground, looking like they all got destroyed by a monster. After taking a moment to soak it all in, she looks up and sees Chadamus Prime flexing his muscles, causing Alina to have an accidental water leak due to his sheer presence. Bro then smirks before grunting what's good to Alina, looking like he's trying his best to become exactly like my idol Henry Cavill. We then skip straight to nightfall, where we find Alina busy resting in one of the castle rooms, but all she could think of is Evan, wondering if something happened to him because his aura is totally different now. Eventually, she snaps out of her dream state and proceeds to search for Sir Carlson, knowing that if she doesn't find him soon, then he's going to come back absolutely blasted. With the noble nowhere to be found, Alina gets absolutely furious knowing that the madam is going to again be treated like a banana holster tonight, so she readies for Plan B. But just as she was making sure no more weebs were going to accidentally be created tonight with Plan B, she runs into our boy and tells him to hide quickly, as Carlson will beat his bum up if he sees him. However, Bro has no care in the world anymore, so he tells Alina that he's here waiting for the lady to get her rice cake smashed, causing Alina to be absolutely dumbfounded by what she just heard. Loud bangings then erupt from the end of the hallway nearby, causing Alina to tremble as she doesn't want the lady to get in trouble, knowing that it's probably Sir Carlson trying to get in. Mere seconds later, Carlson starts yelling for them to open the door as Master is here, but the doorman is nowhere to be found. At the same time, Evan's eyes disappear, so we know things are about to get real, so he ends up muttering to Alina that the lady is probably going to receive some extra love tonight from an angry noble. After enough time, the door breaks open from the sheer force of Carlson's fat rebounding into the doorframe, causing the locks to get loose. Evan's plan is now set in motion as he uses the force to stop Alina from moving, not wanting her to interfere between the upcoming showdown between Sir Carlson's banana tree and Lady Isabel's legendary buns. Spoiler alert for you sussy bakas though, if I were you I'd place all my anime gold coins on Carlson clearing Isabel, since once you go white you always stay tight. Unfortunately for Lady Isabel though, Alina refuses the offer by pushing him away and tells Evan right in his face that he's crazy. So now the two are busy waiting to watch a sussy anime unfold from afar, the exact type you guys like to watch often, featuring a noble man and his noble lady. With the bedroom door now wide open and Carlson holding his belt with his right hand, Alina gives in and accepts Evan's deal, so he begins heading towards Isabel. At this point, Isabel is already speechless, knowing that repeated impending doom is about to be unleashed on her roast beef garden, since Carlson has already removed her diamond armor. However, right before Carlson is able to rocket his spaceship straight into Isabel's launch pad, Evan appears from behind to grab Carlson's arm. A surge of energy quickly discharges from our boy, causing the blasted Carlson to think he's getting attacked and punished by Denki, making him wish he never watched the last season of My Hero. After dispatching the maniac, Evan quickly takes advantage of the situation to steal a kiss from Isabel, where he also tells her that he's going to protect her from now on. Bro then winks at Alina as he picks up the knocked out noble, ordering her to wait for him as he needs to put this man where he belongs first before claiming his reward for saving the mistress. Shortly after dealing with business in regards to Carlson, Bro teleports back to the room Alina is waiting at and instantly begins harvesting the peaches he was promised with both hands. With the demon getting a handful of the very firm and large peaches, he decides to activate Force Push on his Alina, as he believes it's now time to fully enjoy and stretch out every part of his reward. To his surprise, he finds no need to tell her what to do next, since she quickly gets into perfect rice cake smashing position herself, looking like she's already ready for Phase 2 of the boss battle. Finally, the sussy Fire Nation shows up and invades, causing our boy to whip out his barbecue chicken he's been marinating for a long time. Bro then wields his barbecue chicken like a mighty stick, ready to vanquish any foe, so he uses it to enter Alina's precious land that's already steaming like a waterfall. With the meat of the stick proving to be 100% effective against its counterpart, Evan starts to think about how this noble maid could act all strict and mighty all the time, but in reality she's been trying really hard to hide how wet her noodle is. Long story short, Evan pulled out all the stops he could think of to help his French ship demolish the British Empire set before him, as he always imagined for this day to come, and now it's become reality. A flashback then occurs right before he transformed into Chatamus Prime, where we learn that he's always had a thing for Alina since she always seems so clean and elegant. Unfortunately for him though, she never really saw him as more than a servant, so she pretty much ignored him all the time as she deemed him too dirty. So the only thing he could do is be a sussy Becca instead. And with no phones or ways to take pictures, he used the power of his mind to help him imagine all the power plays he could do to her. Back to the present, Evan starts uncontrollably smiling as he never thought this day would come. And what's even better is the fact that she has blown all his expectations, especially since his ship could barely pass her straight since it's too narrow. Regardless, after just 1 minute, Captain Evan looks like he's about to abandon ship as he can't control the waves from crashing in. So he ascends like a monk, trying his best to make sure his ship does not spill milk into the Sea of Alina. It's too late now though, as he loses the battle versus his muse, since he could not handle her restricting attacks, since fair maidens are the most dangerous of them all. Nonetheless, Evan is seen sweating more than a sweaty pro Fortnite player trying to place high in the cups, so he admits defeat and lets his anime water hose free, causing a fire hydrant-like pressure to attack Alina. After finishing their duel between the French and the British, Bro plops back down on a nearby couch to drink some water, as he ended up emptying his water mass. Regardless, as our boy is busy being a water fiend, a confused Alina questions him as to why he let Chris Brown free, since he's a menace to society. He reasons with her that it's better to keep him alive to prevent any power struggles within the family from occurring, especially since his sons are even more barbaric than Carlson. Evan then rizzes her up by mentioning that he doesn't want anything to go wrong for her and Isabel when it's time for him to leave the mansion, so he's going to try his best to make the castle a safe space for them. Of course, it already looks like she's deeply fallen in love with him, so he doesn't have to do much thanks to his powers and thanks to his gigantic banana tree plantation. Shortly after patting Alina's head, Bro steals her bed and orders her to turn off the lights as he's got a busy day tomorrow, but she doesn't mind getting bossed around by her newfound love. After turning off the lights, Alina attempts to go to sleep on the ground beside her bed, only for her to be stuck, continually thinking about wanting a second round. Fast forward to the next morning, Evan has already gone to work on his plan for revenge. This time he's decided to steal all the other males' vitality points to make him stronger. As he zaps the life force out of all the male servants that used to beat him up, he starts laughing as he slowly witnesses them age, giving them hairlines akin to my goat LeBron James. Suddenly, Master Carlson wakes up from his living nightmare and quickly rushes out of the room while saying nothing, so Evan sarcastically wishes him a safe journey, since it looked like he dropped a dookie in his pants. Eventually, night falls with not much going on as the noble is nowhere to be found. Plus, there's not much work to do when no one is ordering him around. Unfortunately, I spoke too soon as Chris Brown returned home late past midnight, barging straight into his bedroom looking like the most punchable face you could imagine. He then yells at Isabel to open up her treasure box so he can sneak his salami in, but she refuses and tries her best to fend off the aggressive noble. Luckily for her though, her new knight in shining armor comes to her rescue at the perfect moment, waiting till the last possible second to zap the living heck out of Carlson. With her husband now defeated again, Isabel instinctively latches on to the demon, looking like she wants a real salami this time. The sussy turntables then turn again once Isabel closes her eyes, allowing Evan to invade and pinpoint all her weakest spots on her spaceship. However, right before they were able to get down to business, Alina pops out of nowhere, causing the lady to run away, not wanting to be seen becoming a sussy Becca. Success, it works as the maid did not suspect a thing, so Evan ends up turning his attention to the new bakery in front of him, thinking to himself that two at the same time would be better than one. The story continues with Bro staring deep into Alina's soul, causing her to blush instantly as she already knows what's knocking on the horizon. As such, sussy Alina starts dreaming about what's next, so she grips her skirt harder than you guys holding a controller or mouse, having to pull off the craziest clutch of your life, sweating your butt off. Meanwhile, Isabel, without any diamond pants on, is stuck wondering what to do since our demon was so Chad enough to try and hit on her, causing her to hole up inside her room. However, she hears some weird sounds coming from downstairs, and since she can't sleep, she decides to venture forth like it's some adventure quest. Regardless, as she gets closer to the source of the sussy sounds, she can't piece things together what it sounds like when the sussy Fire Nation is busy trying to make another nation wet. Eventually, she stops right outside the room of the sussy Fire Bender, but things get pretty weird as the room is in the sauna, so there should be no reason and all that hot steam should be coming out of the room. Nonetheless, it's revealed that Mr. Chadamus Prime is busy oiling up a brand new Autobot that he has conquered, and let's just say Alina is loving every moment of it. Anyways, as the two continue on their Avatar The Last Airbender duel, we discover that Isabel has been brought to her knees, unable to hold in the urge of the sussy within her as it slowly takes over her emotions and physical well-being. Unfortunately, right before we got to the good part, we fast forward a couple days where we see Mr. Carlson back up and running looking like my boy Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Somehow, he hasn't learned his lesson yet, so he decides to burst through the mansion doors, looking like he hasn't changed a single bit after getting destroyed by Evan over and over again. But as he yells for Isabel, wanting to do some nice rice cake smashing of his own tonight, Bro forgot that there's literally a man from another dimension ready to kick him out as soon as possible. Mere seconds later, Carlson gets zapped back to another world by purple lightning, so he instantly passes out and goes to sleep like a brand new puppy. At the same time, our Chad Demon Lord grabs Isabel's glorious bakery with both hands and refuses to let go beside a sleeping Carlson, whilst also swapping well-earned reward kissing points. Bro then goes for the forbidden jutsu powers as he started using his I took an arrow to his kneecap skill, causing Isabel to want a direct attack so badly from Evan using his powered battering ram. But this man is a menace to cultured people like Isabel, since he stops progressing his advance right when things got so heated for Isabel, causing her to get absolutely shocked. With Evan now leaving the room, we discover that this wasn't the first time Bro has stopped right before his banana plantation penetrated the soil of Isabel, so she wonders if this is some sort of punishment. Nevertheless, she's forced to cover her crazy milk machines on her, as the only thing she could do now is watch on from afar, busy wondering what the heck Bro has on his mind. But as Isabel watches her man walk away, and much to her surprise, she finds out that Mr. Demon Lord is busy trying to make sure Alina can't walk night after night. She then gets super disappointed as she notices that Evan grabs Alina's bakery harder than he does with her, so it seems like she might get a tad bit jealous, especially since Alina routinely receives a chili hot dog visit from the man himself. Fast forward to later on that evening, we find Isabel frantically walking back and forth on her balcony, looking like she's about to take part of an episode within Vampire Diaries. Turns out she's busy thinking about whether or not Alina is actually in a relationship with him, since she's confused after Alina told her specifically that she isn't seeing anyone recently. Regardless, she's super sad that Alina decided to hide her rice cake smashing with Avon from her, since the two have practically been sisters ever since Alina came as a maid. Nonetheless, Isabel makes up her mind and decides to cheer up, telling herself she has to go congratulate Alina since she still sees her as her own little sister. However, as her personalities begin to bounce harder than a brand new basketball, she ends up hearing some weird sounds coming from a nearby balcony. As such, she quickly rushes to see if Alina is in danger since today is her day off, so there's no reason for her to be nearby, but Isabel finds no one on the next balcony. So now she rushes to the next room, only to find the kitchen to be spotless clean, yet she still hears some super squeaky sounds super close to her, unable to pinpoint the exact location. Eventually, she stumbles upon some of Alina's clothes laying on the ground in the nearby bathroom. She realizes that Evan's clothes are there as well. Upon realizing that her nightmare could come true at this very moment, she yells for Alina's name in disbelief, catching the maid by absolute surprise since she thought her sneak skill was at max level. Unfortunately for Isabel though, her little sister is busy catching a ride on the one man she's currently in love with, and let's just say the leather seat was clearly stretched with banana markings. You might as well call this a K-drama, as Elena makes an excuse that she's currently doing a deep cleaning, so it would be wise for Isabel not to open the door in front of her. But much to my own surprise, Alina's tactics work in stopping the lady, so she wonders if she needs any help cleaning on her day off. But Mr. Demon Lord Prime decides to activate his demon thrusters whilst Elena tries her best to be quiet. And so in the end, Isabel begrudgingly lets go of the doorknob, so I think deep inside she already knows what the heck is happening. Unless she's really the dumbest female anime character of all time. Turns out my suspicions were correct, since Isabel fakes out both Avon and Elena by making them think she already left the other room, only for her to secretly be eavesdropping on our boy using his banana tree plantation. So fast forward to the next morning outside the ladies' bedroom, we find Isabel being chilling on her balcony again, but this time it looks like she's in deep thought. Clearly, she wants something deep, alright, but not within her thoughts, if you get my drift. So it's revealed that she hasn't been able to sleep at all since she was too busy being a true sussy Becca, with sussy sounds stuck in her head all night. However, she knows today could be her chance to strike while the iron is hot, since every maid will be leaving for the market today, leaving her and just Mr. Demon Lord at home. Now I'm curious as to why bro is still doing his chores when he's a demon now. But regardless, Isabel yells for him as soon as she was able to find him in the courtyard. With her sussy plan now initiated, she waits patiently inside her room while our bro looks a little bit annoyed right now, but he still decides to fulfill his duties to the house. He's then called inside to enter, only for him to unknowingly fall straight into her trap card as she looks ready to use her enormous milkshake machine to get what she truly wants. She then pulls off a big brain move by telling him to come closer to her, acting as if she's super weak, so she kind of whispers, forcing him to actually get as close as possible. Upon reaching the ideal Isabel distance, she ends up turning the turntables by staring into his soul, while also reaching directly for his sealed banana sword hiding behind his Minecraft diamond pants. Joke's on her though, this was actually part of his master plan in making Isabel totally want to get her city gates destroyed by his own battering ram, and all it took was a few days. Anyways, now that his mission was a success in making Isabel absolutely fall in love with him, he shows her who's boss by allowing his Italian salami to burst through his diamond armor, ready to attack and destroy everything in front of it. Mere seconds later, with Isabel laying down on her own bed, her Captain Underpants comes flying out since bro is ready to use his pointy banana arrow to pierce directly through. Regardless, after Ray's double satcheling into entry straight into her catacombs, sparks begin to fly out of her, causing a massive waterfall to occur, leaving Isabel speechless, as this has never happened to her before. Now with the room and bed drenched from the epic entry thanks to this perfect duelist, Rose smiles as she's about to get reincarnated to another world of bliss, since this is just the beginning. And so the rest was history, with Evan busy quietly congratulating himself in his head, as this was the most important part of his revenge, making sure that Isabel is going to be his forever and ever, like Shrek and Donkey. In the end, bro went so all out that he almost depleted all of his demon energy straight into Isabel's forbidden palace, unable to believe he had so much left in the tank all this time. Nonetheless, after finishing their 1-versus-1 duel, Isabel pipes up and asks if they can continue doing this very amazing activity every day, so he quickly replies by saying of course, knowing full well everything is working according to his plan. So fast forward like 5 minutes later, bro decides it's time for round 2 as his horse is still raging on, but the madame is barely able to move yet she still agrees. It's at this very moment that bro was basically the happiest he's ever been in this world, since Isabel kept telling him how she never thought she could fall in love again until she met this legendary slave. Fast forward to the next night with everyone back home, you can already guess what both Isabel and Mr. Demon Lord is up to. That's right, the two are currently busy doing some rice cake smashing, but things are starting to take a turn opposite of what Evan has planned. Initially, he just wanted to live a peaceful life after destroying Carlson once and for all, with both Isabel and Alina by his side. But he gets shocked when he finds out that Isabel doesn't want to move away with him. Much to his surprise, she refuses to leave with him even though it's her absolute desire, as it's revealed that the reason she doesn't want to move is because she has a daughter attending academy here. She clarifies though that it's not her daughter by blood, but by marriage, as it's Carlson's daughter from another mother, and during hard times they relied on each other, so she basically treats her as her own. Upon finding out that she's about to graduate university, my sussy senses began tingling off the charts again, since the first thing bro asks is if she's pretty, I mean, what kind of mother would say their daughter isn't pretty? So Isabel tells him that of course, she's super pretty even if she has some of Carlson's genetics within her. Regardless, now that Bro knows that a pretty girl is about to show up in his mansion, he begins thinking to himself that there's no need to rush out of this town when he could score a triple threat banger from downtown. Fast forward to the next night after Sussy Ivan fills up another jug full of milk thanks to the help of Miss Isabel, we find the mansion eerily quiet. However, at 2 in the morning, the surprised Alina gets greeted by Carlson, who seems totally out of it since he doesn't say anything, nor does he try to be aggressive with anyone. He even has manners now, so he tells Alina, "No thank you," after she asks if he wanted some tea to help him sleep, so he ends up just walking to his room without bothering anyone working. Shortly after, Alina decides that peace has finally come upon the house, so she gets ready for bed, only for her to run into Chatham's prime, so she eagerly tells him how Carlson actually just went to bed to go to sleep without causing trouble.